Are you gonna do any sort of like, I don't know, Reed's point transformation videos where you're gonna like
I
transform
did
into some? You
actually.
did? Oh, awesome.
I did a video. I think it was, oh my gosh, months ago. I can't even remember. But I did a how I did my makeup on set of Reed's points.
Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Your Pass. Today I'm talking to Sasha Anne, who plays Sarah in Reed's Point, which is coming to DVD and digital on April 12th, 2022. We're going to talk to her right now. And while you're watching, if you could like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Sasha Anne, who plays Sarah in Reed's Point, which is coming to DVD and digital on April 12th, 2022. It is a psychological cryptid horror film, and it's also Sasha Anne's acting debut. So I mean, it's a big accomplishment. It's a big step, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the film. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, I guess this is your acting debut. So like, what made you want to, I guess, go from kind of like a social media front, like focused role to, more of like an acting role? Was this just something that came up, or is something that you've been kind of like wanting to do for a while? This was finally the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've always loved acting, but I've always been too nervous to dive into it because I am dyslexic, so it's hard for me to memorize lines very fast. And I'm a makeup influencer. I do beauty and transformation, so it is kind of like turning into a different person and acting in a way. And in middle school I was always in the school plays but singing. I wasn't acting because I was too nervous to memorize the lines and I would forget it, so that's what I did. But then after I was finished with chemotherapy in 2020, I'm like, okay, maybe I could try diving into acting, see how I like it. So yeah, here I am, and I love it so much. I'm so glad I got into it.
Yeah, I mean that like your chemo was like that's insane. Like it just a that I guess you got it so young, and then B that you were fighting it, and also that you kind of put your journey online so that all everyone could see it. I was looking through your Instagram and saw that. And I was like, oh my god! Like first off, she's so young, but then also like that's a
I'm not
huge.
that young.
You're younger than most people I know that get chemo. So, and then also like putting that up online for everyone to see is also just like a really brave step. So, I guess that gave you some perspective on like, maybe I shouldn't be, afraid to pursue other things just because
Yeah,
you
exactly.
never know what's going to happen. Yeah, no, that makes, and also, I love that you already had kind of stage exposure and stage, experience, except you just never gotten like that main role. You were always kind of like in the singing part, which is still a
Yeah.
tough thing to do. So
I just wanted to try something new, and I've always loved, like when I was little watching Disney Channel, I'm like, I want to do that so badly, but I'm too afraid because I don't know how to memorize lines so fast. I'm like, how do they do it? And now I'm like, oh well, how do I do it?
yeah, so I guess how, like, did you find a way that worked for you? Or are you still trying to like, figure it out? Like, how did you kind of get over that initial hesitation and find, a method that would work for you to learn your lines?
So I've gotten a lot of help before set, and it was very difficult. But what I learned to do is I memorize things by ear. So I record myself saying the lines, and then I play it back, listening to my own voice, and that helps a lot.
I bet that's also kind of similar to how you learn songs, right? You probably were listening to
Exactly.
this. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I learn things by ear.
That's awesome. And so you would like read the lines and then kind of listen over and over, which probably
Right.
also
Yes.
helps if you're an on the go kind of person. That way you can kind of at least constantly be,
Mhm.
practicing while you're moving
Yeah,
around.
and it helps with timing also.
I imagine all those people like in the stores would see you shopping, like, what is she doing? She's so intensely focused.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I guess, how did you find out about this project? Did you know anyone involved, or was this something that you're like, hey, you know what, now I want to get out there, let's go find a project that'll work for me, and this was just the one that came across?
So at the time, my mom was asking me, what do you want to do after you finish chemo? And I said, I want to get into acting. And she says, okay, well, let's see who we know. First of all, my manager at the time, Sandy, she said, oh, I know this producer. Her name is Suzanne DeLaurentiis, and she will put you in a movie. And I'm glad that she trusted me with it and that she believed in me. And it was very hard at first because I was still like getting over the chemo and everything was coming out of me still. And I pushed through it, and I'm very impressed with myself. It was a lot of work and a lot of Zoom calls, but it was all worth it. And
Yeah,
I'm very
that's,
thankful that I got to work with them.
I mean, I can't imagine. Like, I understand like the new perspective on life you got after chemo, but like, I can't imagine being like, you know what, I just got through this like draining, physically demanding thing. I'm gonna go like make a
Yeah.
movie and try something. Like, I'd be like, I'm gonna sit in my room for a year and just like
Oh,
veg out.
yeah, it wasn't that bad though. I had my friends and family there for me, my followers there, and I was still on social media making videos on the weeks that I was fine. And after, I'm like, you know what? This is over. I survived this. So let's go into a new chapter. Let's try something new. Let's power through. I want to be an inspiration to others and show people that you can keep going and nothing will stop you. So I did the movie and I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah, no, for sure. So did you have the movie like lined up during chemo? Like, were you learning your lines while you were going through chemo, or was this something that, you know, now that everything, once you got the all clear, you're like, okay, now I want to start exploring and see what's out there?
So I think that during, like at the end of chemo, I was actually in the middle of writing my original songs. And then my mom said, okay, so do you want to keep writing songs? And do you also want to do this movie? At first, it was going to be a short, like a short film. But then they're like, let's make it into a huge movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I memorized like this first page, I could do it. So my mom was a little uncertain. She was a little nervous, but I'm like, let's do it. Just give me the script. So it took me weeks to memorize because obviously it was my first movie and I haven't memorized a huge script like that before, but I powered through and I did it.
That's one
So
of
it was
those.
like, I think maybe a month or two after I finished chemo, I believe.
Oh wow, that's one of those like be careful what you wish for kind of things. You're like, you know, I want to go, I want to be on screen. Like, here's a short, like that's manageable. Like, now we're gonna make a movie. You're like, oh, that's doable. Like that's I just kind of, you know, I love that you went all in for it, right? Like, you're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound, because that is
Yeah.
daunting originally, and then now it's like extra daunting to be in for a full movie and trying to like manage that as you're also recovering and everything that went along with
I
that.
mean, I did have my port still in while I was filming,
Oh
but
wow.
all that makeup covered it up.
And so that's actually the timing is interesting to me. So I noticed in the film that your hair is short for the majority
Yes.
of it. So did you film those scenes first and then film like the, I don't know, opening scene after, you know, after your hair had grown back, or was that just kind of, I don't know, had your hair grown back for the screen, or was that like part of what was
So
happening?
that was a wig.
Okay. Oh wow, okay,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Like I can't keep brushing it, it gets longer. I
um
wish.
yeah.
But no, so we filmed, I think the first scene was when I had a wig on.
Mhm.
And then we filmed the other scene. I took my wig off, and that's like a year later when my hair is like a year later, not exactly a year later, but my hair
Yeah.
was shorter. And I at the beginning I was like 18, let's say, and then we wanted to show people that okay, it's a year later, I'm still investigating what happened with the crash, and my hair is shorter,
Mhm.
so it's like a different look.
Yeah, but that was that your actual hair, or was that also a wig? I mean, I'm
No, my
not sure.
short hair, that was my hair was still growing.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And so, you know, like, this was filmed seemingly recently. Was it still like during the, I don't know, the quote unquote like the main part of the pandemic, or was this you know, after things had lightened up? Where in like the timeline was this filmed?
This was filmed let's see, beginning end of April, I believe,
Okay.
of 2021.
Okay. So that the like wonderful time where like everything's going to get better, everything is, and then all of a sudden Omicron was
Oh,
like, no.
we all wish that.
Yeah.
It didn't. Now it is. But yeah, no, we were all very, very careful on set.
Yeah. I like how it also like took you a bit to remember, because it does feel like these last 2 years have been like
Oh
25 years.
yeah.
So I can't really remember anything that happened. It's like, was that,
I have to go back in time a little bit.
yeah, exactly. Like, was that 2 years ago, or was that like 25? I don't remember. It's, everything's just been a
Exactly.
blur. And where was this filmed? I know you're based in New York. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess California, just from like some of the
You got that
landscape.
right.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
I came from New York to LA. My brother actually is a producer here. So he was here for me whenever I needed him. And yes, this was filmed in mostly Glendale, California.
Okay. Yeah, that tracks. That fits. I wasn't sure, but it looked like California. That's awesome that your brother was there too, like another kind of support person to help you along on your acting
Yeah.
debut. That's awesome. And I know that this is like an indie film, and they tend to be, relatively small cast. I know that you do a ton with makeup, and you're a makeup influencer. Did you help with the makeup on this as well, or was that something that that was just too much to take on for your first role?
So I begged to do my own makeup. There was a makeup artist on set, two, I believe, two makeup artists, and they're amazing with like the special effects, the blood and all that. I can't do that because it grosses me out. I love doing makeup but the special effects, no. I'm
Mhm,
sorry. I did my own makeup like the natural way,
mhm.
but they did all the blood and the dirt and everything.
And was there anything that you had to do differently for like a movie makeup versus kind of what you normally do, where it's like a social media focused makeup? I don't know if there's like different techniques or different issues with lighting, like you have to use different products because maybe you're moving around more, or having to deal with like weather more. Was there like a
Yeah.
learning factor there?
That's a really good question. So I actually use the same exact products, but I have to limit what I use because with highlighter, I use that for like a glamorous look, for example, for events or for my YouTube channel if I'm doing like a transformation. But for camera, you have to be careful because it affects the lighting because you don't want to look oily or shiny. So you have to use powder, no highlights.
Oh,
And it's mostly it has to be very natural for camera.
well, that makes sense. And now you have a whole new avenue of videos to make where you can tell people how to, like, the
Yeah,
differences
so it's like
between.
the
Yeah.
same, but you have to limit the products that you use.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you going to do any sort of, like, I don't know, Reed's Point transformation videos where you're going to like
I did
transform into some? You did?
actually.
Oh, awesome.
I did a video. I think it was, oh my gosh, months ago. I can't even remember. But I did a how I did my makeup on set of Reach Points.
Okay, awesome. Are you going to do anything with like I know you don't like the blood and gore, but you can do any like creature makeup? I know you do like some pretty intense transformations on your channel,
I
so I wasn't sure.
do. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do like a monster transformation. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. I have to see if I could make myself not gag, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you keep putting yourself out there. Just keep doing it a little bit more.
so
Try
like the
try
hair
doing
on
this.
my face and like all the blood and stuff.
And
Yeah.
the teeth might be a tough one, but
Yeah,
hey,
the claws.
yeah, awesome. So I know we have limited time, so I'm gonna switch. I call it the lightning round. It's just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your experiences map to things that happened in the film. You can feel free not to answer any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question is, what was the last time you were in a diner?
Uh, not for not for a while.
I feel like it's been a while since any of us ate out, because it was fun to like see you in a diner in the film, and then you're like eating pie. Like that's like it's such a normal experience that we used to have back in the
I
days. So
know. I
yeah.
think the last time was probably during Fashion Week.
Mhm.
Uh, in oh my gosh, I can't remember, 2021 probably with my friend. We went to a diner after a show. Yeah.
That sounds lovely. That sounds like an experience we used to have.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever stayed in an RV?
Have I ever stayed in an RV?
Yeah,
No,
like
I haven't.
okay. Um, I don't know. Like, have you ever had like a property or a land dispute? Have you ever been involved in anything like that? I don't know if you have neighbors or whatnot.
No, I haven't.
Excellent. Have you ever been like a reporter, like I don't know, in high school, in a newspaper or anything like that? Have you ever been like any sort of investigative reporter or reporter?
On Reed's points.
Well, yeah, clearly. So was
But I do have a blog that I post every now and then on like latest fashion and makeup and all those kind of, and tips, entertainment, mostly fashion. Like I post what each person is wearing and their looks.
that's investigative too. That's awesome. I love it. Have you ever had to investigate, I don't know, some sort of like strange occurrence, like I'm trying to think how it would relate. Like, I don't know, maybe you heard something outside, so you had to go like explore and see what that was, or you were like on a trip and you saw something weird like in the corner of your eye and you went to go take a look at that.
I'm too scared to do that because I don't want to get hurt myself. But the other night I did hear a guy outside screaming on top of his lungs and cars were honking. It was probably like 11 p.m. at night. So I had to call downstairs to the front desk and I had to tell them and complain to them. And they were out investigating what happened. Never got a phone call back, but the screaming stopped. So I'm sure something did happen.
That's probably the best way that that could have ended, right? Yeah, no follow-up. Everything just kind of like went
Yeah.
away. Perfect. Yeah. And also welcome to LA.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. Have you ever encountered wild animals?
No, and I hope I don't, because that would be terrifying.
Yeah, these would be some terrifying animals to encounter. So what was the last time that you were camping? Or maybe even just out in the woods, other than like for filming Reed's Point.
Well, I did do an all-nighter on Reed's Point on set.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it was like half in the woods, half inside, but maybe that counts. Other than that, not since I was very little. Not for a long time.
Hey, you know what? That counts. I mean, you're out there filming and you ended up camping as well, so it works out perfectly.
Yeah.
And the last question is, when you were growing up, did your town or did your area have any sort of either urban legends or cryptids that you all, I don't know, told stories about, or kind of, had local legends about?
Other than the legend of the Jersey Devil, no.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, the Jersey Devil is
Yeah.
a legit one. There you go. So I know that the film is coming out. It's coming out April 12th on DVD and digital, and you're out promoting it. You're trying to get the word out. You've been posting on it on your social media, so you're trying to get people to go see it. I imagine there's probably maybe something else in the pipeline as well after this film comes out. What can people look for from you after the film comes out, like from a movie perspective? I know you'll still be doing still doing the blog and influencing and things like that, but are you going to dip your toes into another role? Is there anything like that coming up?
Yes, definitely. So I just released my first debut single called Catch Me I'm Falling. It's a 80s hit song and it's by Jay Starling from Pretty Poison. It's on all streaming platforms and I was just in a pilot. I just filmed the pilot and it's called On All Fours and that will be coming very soon.
That's awesome. I love that you're still putting yourself out there, right? Like it's you kind of caught the bug and now you're gonna keep pursuing it, which is great. When people want to find you, like I'm sure you're easy to find, right? Because you're a big influencer, but where can people go to look for more from you?
You could find me on Instagram at simply Sasha Anne. That's Anne with an E. YouTube Sasha Anne and TikTok Sasha Anne. Everywhere else Sasha Anne. Yeah.
Perfect. You got a brand. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. This is Sasha Anne talking about Reed's Point, which is coming to DVD and digital on April 12th, 2022. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Sasha Anne talking about Reed's Point, which is coming to digital and DVD on April 12th, 2022. It's a cryptid horror film and Sasha Anne's acting debut. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.